to be showing off some Spyro 2 Season of Flame categories. First one being No Fire Breath, followed by Beat the Game. RDA, good luck. Take it away.
Alrighty. So weird thing about the game is that we start the game. We start timing on selection of yes from deleting because this is a glitch. It's gonna be kind of like a life underflow glitch that'll make routing lives and particular other things in the rest of the run of things. So I'm just gonna start the run now and explain it a little bit later, but on go. So 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so right at the beginning, we're skipping a cutscene by soft resetting the console. By soft resetting the console, it still counts that we can't like watch the cutscene, but just skips it for us. But also it does a little bit of glitchy things to the game's coding because it thinks that we're playing the file that we deleted at the same time, basically. So Sparks is invisible. He will kind of work a little bit here, but he won't work if he's invisible like for the rest of the run, which can kind of help. Oops. Didn't do that. But we also start with 0 lives, which isn't actually 0 lives. If you were to have 0 lives and then die, you'd game over. But if I were to die with the amount of lives I have here, I would just go back to 5 lives, and that's part of the glitch that I was talking about. So in order to fix it, I have to collect a life, and I'll be doing that in this next level. I skipped it because I was like on the verge of skipping Hunter because it's optional to do this Firefly, but in this category, I'm not allowed to have Fire Breath. So part of the lore for this game is that the Fire Breath is taken away from the dragons, and you're supposed to get it back and rescue the fireflies and make it warm again, basically. But in this category, we just ignore that and we don't get fire breath, but we just beat the game anyway. There is about 80 fireflies that aren't including like side character stuff, like Sheila and Agent 9 stages. So there's 80 total fireflies that I can get in order to like, or without fire, and I need 75 to beat the game. So a tight margin, but we can do it. So I had to skip the main firefly in that level, which is getting the fire, but it made it a lot faster. But now I'm down a firefly than I normally am. A lot of the beginning of actually, not really. It's like half the stages. So this stage and the next are the same to any percent because just some of the levels are like you use fire most of it, some of it you use ice most of it, and then there's a couple that are mixed in between. These imps are manipulatable depending on where you go in the level. There's different ways to manipulate them, but that's just the most consistent I've done it. I found it, at least. Ooh. Cool. There's a lot to talk about, so if I'm just like speaking it way too fast, let me know. I can reiterate stuff, but there's a lot of stuff going on in this game. Recently I've started implementing gliding while collecting fireflies just because generally when you collect a firefly, the game stops you from moving like this. However much you're able to move while collecting a firefly, you want to do it. And generally you can move further from glides. Some stages like this one have specific ones that I have grabs for, which saves a couple seconds. But other than that, I pretty much try to go for either like glides or charge jumps to collect fireflies most of the time. Right there was like another way to skip text boxes in this game. Pausing, you can, as long as you're not collecting a firefly, you can pause like at any time in the game. So I can pause while I'm in the air before I collect the firefly, collect it, and then exit the level before the text box shows up. So right here, I actually just recently started implementing death routing because it's faster to, in some certain circumstances, faster to like warp from a death than it is to just finish a level, exit, and then go to the next stage. So we do that at the beginning of this game, or at the beginning of this run. In Country Farms, we game over and go to Shamrock Isle. And we're gonna do it again at the end of the run. Let's see if I got this. I'm good, that's fine. So generally you can glide into the water and get that checkpoint at the same time. I didn't get that. It's okay though. So that backup is about 5 seconds it takes to die. Generally, if I got that strat, it took about 3. Oops. But I just want to make sure that I don't game over too early because then I'm losing time. But game overing, I don't know. Gosh. It's faster because you don't have to collect or count the gems that you collect in any of the stages. And it also cuts out like 2 different loading zones. Right here, I just got pushed into the boulder because that guy is a friend and pushed me to the boulder. Literally any of the mini games in this game are manipulatable. I'm pretty sure there's some kind of AI instead of it just being random. So that is why that minigame is as consistent as it is. That's like a Firefly that you would get if you're going for like world record at 90%, but you have to get it in this category. Not too bad. Okay, now I got a breath. This next stage is like super brain dead because most of the stage is fire based, so there's not much to do other than get the free roaming, which is still, there's 4 of them. And there's a lot of like fast-paced movement, so all the stages are somewhat difficult in their own right, but I like running past things as much as the next guy. Here. If I get hit here, did I get hit? Oh, I didn't even collect Firefly. So if you get hit there, which you can do if you correctly space the freezing of that Firefly to where you freeze him, but don't freeze the enemy, he'll hit you before you collect the Firefly. And it's faster to go into Crush without any health left because you don't collect a gem before entering. It saves like a second and a half. But it's very unlikely to get, and Sparks is also very not the most consistent in terms of when he shows up and when he's invisible. It's like somewhat consistent, just not the most. So sometimes I'll think I'm on the right health and I'm not. I had too much health there anyway, so. Alright, so this is Crush. The first of the bosses. This is probably the hardest of them all. This is the one I struggle with the most, so let's see if I can do this. Okay, cool. So those ice balls that he shoots at you are supposed to melt pretty much before you're supposed to shoot hit him with the first throw, but if you do it just fast enough, you can get him with all 3. That was pretty good. All right. You're gonna see a lot, like Celestial Plains is always the biggest like execution-based area. It's where you get most of the Fireflies in your runs most of the time, and it's it's the middle stage world, so lots of stuff going on. Okay. Thus. But we're gonna see a lot of like gems, like trying to skip gems, and a lot of minor time saves throughout the like whole. What am I trying to say? the entirety of the world, because we have to go through a lot more of celestial planes than we did sunny planes. Sunny planes, there's a lot of shortcuts. Alright. So this is an obstacle course. Let's see if we can do it. Nice. The trigger for that win, it extends into the water, so as long as you can hit that trigger, you're good. And I counted an extra death here so that, well, so that we can get that game over, but dying right there is like literally you only lose like a second and a half over collecting it normally. I approached this area particularly so that I skipped the checkpoint. All the like the fairies are checkpoints, so I had to approach that specifically so that I didn't hit it. That's how I was able to do the death warp. That was really good. And we had to do a little what is it? Freaking to bring the dude without any feet to the dude without any feet, you know? It's weird. Anyway. This is my least favorite stage in the run. Oh, good. I'm probably I'm not gonna talk. I'm just gonna try and focus. This is like a really hard stage. So. A second. Alright, so I have to do this twice. If you like hockey, enjoy. What? Okay. One of the reasons I don't like it. Ah, dude. Alright. Do it one more time. Now I have to get 8 points instead of 5. In the same amount of time. With harder CPU. Which he is, technically. I fucked this up. Sorry. Oh! Okay, well that was just a bad angle on my part, but you can never really tell until afterwards. Sometimes, so like the reason the puck was like moving on its own that one time is sometimes I feel like it's random. I feel like maybe it's dependent on what it's doing right when it's like how much speed it has right when it's despawning, but sometimes it's just moving on its own. Okay, actually it wasn't that bad. I'm gonna move up so that firefly is right in the way of that door. Very nice. Oh, that sucks. Get up. Get up. All right. That's about how winter mesas usually go. The hockey is pretty pretty resident sleeper. I'm not a huge fan of hockey, man. More of a baseball dude. Gotta ask. Probably gotta pick. I ran track and played tennis, like. Alright. So this stage is a very high execution-based stage, unlike the last one. I have to kill enemies that only die by charging into them. Okay. Freeze some stuff and do a death warp later. Jump. Right here, I'm also skipping a checkpoint as well, so I can do that death warp. It doesn't look like it, but all those glides, like especially that one, that was a really good glide. They all save like at least a second and a half. It's kind of weird. This is another minigame, so should be good. Aw, I cut in too much. It's okay. Not really much places he can go, so. Oh, come on, man. This is definitely the stage I practiced the most before the run. That's okay. Coming up here, I'm gonna try and space this so that I messed that up. Alright, so you can collect the Firefly and skip like both the text boxes while getting into the water. But you know, a lot of it is particularly dying quick enough is frame perfect, or frame specific depending on where you start your glide and how tall the glide is. But yeah, it's a hard level. Oh, okay, that sucks. You can collect that Firefly and like glide and skip the text box completely, but all right. This is a pretty entertaining level. A lot of cool jumps. Yeah. Do I go for it? Nah. There's a jump I've started implementing in runs. It's not like difficult, but it's definitely not easy. So anything that, like, if you can skip any glide, it saves like a crap ton of time in comparison. And flutters, for sure. Ooh, ooh, okay. That was not sus. I knew what I was doing. Alright. That was fine, I guess. Just kind of mindlessly pressing buttons at this point. Whoa. Cool. Alright. So now we've entered all the levels that we can enter in this area, so we're just going to collect the rest of the Fireflies that are in Celestial Plains, and then enter the boss fight. We couldn't do the pedestals in Sunny Plains because you have to use fire, surprisingly. But moons, ice, cold. Good angle. That's fine. Hey. Aww. Alright. Very cool. What? Never even seen that happen. That's cool. All right, so I don't know if I mentioned in the last boss fight, but you can run like right before the boss starts talking to you. I just did it right there. I did in the last one too. So like running and then timing a charge jump will get you as close as you possibly can to the boss. Saves a little bit of time in a couple instances. You don't have to watch the game like scroll back and forth. And this boss fight is the only fight and instant, or actually, there's one other. Oh, I was standing too close to him. There's another instance of RNG in the game, but it's not in any category other than 100% all fireflies. But this is like the only instance of RNG in the game. So sometimes he shoots it out of the left or right cannon, and yeah, you get it. So now we just have to clean up. So we're definitely low on fireflies compared to what we would have on any percent. So instead of going to like Moon Fondue right here, we have to go to Dreaming Castle. But doing so, I have made a direct line to Ripto where I won't collect as many gems, and I won't collect as many gems entering Moon Fondue next time, like when I actually do enter it. That's good. Lag reduction right there. That's a big spot that can lag a lot. I turned the music off. I didn't mention that. I turned the music off in this game because it lags the game like a lot and it loses a bunch of time. So it's just faster to turn it off. But even so, there's instances where the game will just lag. It's a Game Boy game. Oh dang! You can get to Xbox if you time that correctly. But yeah, there's still instances of lag. So there's still instances of ways to make that lag go away. Because we're gamers, that's what we do. Right. That was a text box script. It's a very simple one though. Very simple stage without fire. When you have fire, you have to just do a bunch of waiting and it's kind of boring. Let's see if I can get this glide. Nice. This level is another one of the hardest. The last two levels are some of the hardest levels in this category. You have to get a crap ton of fireflies, and they're also just hard. This mission is just the harder version of the Shamrock Isle imps. There's a bunch of them, and they have a lot more room to go around. So we'll see if I can get it. I basically kind of watched a task that was made of this game a long time ago, and I made like human grade versions of it. Works pretty well, but definitely annoying. So this one's gonna get stuck. Ah, crap. It's fine, I guess. I'll hold the charge button right before this starts, and it's gonna lock the last one in this hourglass, like the last one got locked. Nice. Okay. Consistent. Love to see it. Very nice. That was actually pretty good. So now we're just gonna go up here, collect this last firefly, and definitely not die. No, why would we do that? Oh no, I died. Okay. So now, when I enter Moon Fondue, I don't have to collect any fire or any gems, and it's also just easier and faster to enter the stage. But now I have to play the stage, which is the hardest stage in the game. in this category. So unlike any percent where we just get the free roaming ones, we have to do all the missions here except for one, which is the mini game. So it's separate. But I'm on a cycle here, so let's see if I can get it. That's a good start. Oh, that sucks. I think I can still get it. Nope, never mind. That's okay. So I just have to go back up here, like this. Come back down here. Not a big deal. That's a very tight time to get. So, okay. Very good backup too. So the electric ability is very whack. It doesn't really make any sense. But it's pretty helpful in terms of just, you don't have to really be next to stuff to... Unless it's going to run. Oh no, it sucks. Alright, so since that happened, I have to redo the satellites, which happens. I just got better RNG. Satellites are one of the missions in this game where if you don't get a checkpoint while doing the mission, you'll have to redo it all if you die. That's what happened. Woo! Oh, see, like I still got it. So that firefly's still there. As I was saying, collect it. Down here, collect this one. Come back to the start. Alright. And then we're gonna go to Ripto. We have our 75 fireflies. Beat the game. Because you don't need to beat the game with fire. Or you don't need fire to beat the game. I also have a good amount of health, so I don't need to heal. So you're supposed to use all the like power up breaths that you get during the game in order to like break the force field that he has here. But since this is a GBA game, pausing is the most broken thing you can do. So we're just gonna pause and hope for the best. Oh cool, I flipped in. So as long I clipped out of it, but that's okay. You can just do it again. You just make sure you stay in that little force field, hit them all 3 times. And then as I see if I can get this. Cool. There's a couple text boxes that you skip there. By like being able to run to that door. Alright, time's gonna be when we start the credits, was it? Do this in a second. And time. Not bad, not a bad run. A lot of talking. I hope you guys enjoyed. When I talk about the speedruns, man, I just go ham. So, but let me get these cheat codes up.
Yeah. GG's, and just so everyone knows, RDGay is going to stick around for one more run. Next up, he's going to be doing just beat the game with cheats. That'll be a quick one. Best of luck on that, RDA.
Thank you, man. Just get these up and then we'll start that. All right. So timing for a cheat code starts after you put in all the cheat codes. So did all the glitching that we need to do with that file. And so there's actually a decent amount of cheat codes that we can put into the game. There's a couple that are like Agent 9 only. Sheila doesn't have any for this game for some reason, but whatever. But there's a lot that we can use to just beat the game, obviously. So you just got to put in a particular code at this at the start of the game. So we're gonna do all portals open. If you hear that chime, that means we got it. Atlas warping. Surprise one. We don't want those ones. And okay. Oh, nope. All right. View all worlds in Atlas. There we go. Left, right. Cool. All right. We have all of them in. I'm gonna on go. We'll be ready to go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we have all the cheat codes in. What I'm able to do is warp anywhere I want to. I have a blue Spyro, which is cool. Actually, I need to talk. No, dude, I collected a gem. That's okay. What else did I do? But actually, that's literally it. You just make it so that you can go to any level, and I also have it so any door is open, so I don't talk to anybody to open the door. So you just warp right to the last world because you can't warp to boss rooms. And we're just gonna fight Ripto again because we got here with all of our 75 fireflies, and I'm blue because it's a cheat code. Aw, dang. Not bad, not bad. Timing ends at the same time as any percent, and all the other categories is when we start the credits after talking to Elder. So we're back. Hi. And time. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's pretty good. Oh, I paused the credits. You can do that. Yeah, man. I think I actually lost like a second because I didn't turn off the music, but you know, the music in this game is actually pretty good, so worth it.
All right,
yeah.
Thank you for those runs, RDA. Super appreciate that. And I super appreciate how much you do for the miscellaneous categories and the handheld games in general. I know Season of Ice, we recently had a lot of discussion starting up just because you were influencing the starting of using cheats and stuff like that. And I know that a lot of the runs, the miscellaneous runs on the boards for Season of Flame were also like pushed by you. So I think that's really cool, and I appreciate you for that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those guys that loves speedrunning. If you have an idea of a category and you go out and do it, I think that that's valid enough of a category, you know? Like, I think that's really cool. So it makes sense for me to make these weird, dumb, silly categories up, and I enjoy this game so much. I'm glad that I get to share it with people.
Do you have like a particular like weird category that you made up that you're like super proud of?
For Spyro?
In general?
I mean, honestly, like Spyro, this game I've made like most of the side categories, just because the miscellaneous or like handheld Spyro games are just not too popular. So when I came around, I just kind of influenced my my mind onto the other like 2 runners of the game, and like for this category in specific, I was literally just, I didn't even think it was possible to beat the game without fire, because I just didn't know anything about the game. And I was just playing through the game and I was like, wait man, like I think you can actually get 75 fireflies, and you obviously can. You can get 80. So like this is obviously one of my babies for category extensions. I was actually almost gonna PB in that in that run. That was a pretty good run. But I mean, I touch all kinds of different games. I do random, like all challenges runs of Brawl and Pokemon Battle Revolution. I've done all kinds of random stuff with. I'm a big miscellaneous category dude. So if you ever have like ideas or want to bounce ideas off someone who likes speedrunning, I'm definitely always here for you, man. Even if I don't know what the game, I'll look it up, man.
Hey man, well, that is sick. And thank you again for doing this run. Both were super solid. And up next, we're gonna join Dylan J. Fox, who's gonna be doing some Bone Dance and Spyro 3, the Reignited Trilogy. So stick around for that.
Thanks for having me, guys.